Hello, how are you? I have a brand new book review for you today and I hope you're feeling thrilling because it's a thriller. This is The Girl in the Train by Paula Hawkins. This was released in January this year and it's been doing really well in the UK at least. I can't go anywhere without seeing this book. It's published by Transworld Books and it's just over 300 pages long, but you can read it very quickly because you can't put it down. You really want to know what happens, as is true to most thrillers. So I read this over the course of this weekend and I really enjoyed it, so I just want to talk about it without spoiling it in any way because there's a few twists and turns. So this book has garnered quite a few Gone Girl comparisons. In fact, Bri asked me when he saw it if it was written by the same author because he thought that the cover looked quite similar. And I'm sure that's somewhat deliberate, but I think if you read Gone Girl, the style will strike you as quite similar. So it starts out as these sort of diary entries, almost dated diary entries, from three different characters, all female, and the first one is Rachel, who is the girl in the train. Her entries are usually morning or evening. They coincide with the train, the commuter trains that run in the morning, and then again in the evening, bringing people to and from London. Occasionally you get afternoon entries, but it usually sticks to that morning-evening pattern, and it's quite unusual because if she does something really interesting in the afternoon, you have to wait for her to kind of reflect on it. So it's quite interesting. I like that. It jumps back and forward in time in terms of when these diary entries are written for the different characters. It can be a little bit hard to follow in the beginning, but once the sort of main event of the plot happens, it all sort of makes sense if it's before or after. This is a psychological thriller. It's concerned with memory loss. Rachel, we discover quite early on, is an alcoholic, and because she's an alcoholic, she often doesn't remember what she did the night before, and she has these sort of blackouts, and it's quite sad. Eventually you find out about her ex-husband who is remarried. You find out why she started drinking and why she continues to drink. Her being an alcoholic is a very useful plot device because it means there can be these gaps in her memories, and there's a very legitimate reason for those. She's a first person narrator. She's not the only first person narrator, but she's the first one you're introduced to, and I think she probably gets more pages than anybody else, so she feels like the main character and the one you're rooting for, and that can be really difficult because she's incredibly frustrating to read. But I think that's very realistic, to trying to form a relationship with someone who's an alcoholic who has this hurdle they need to overcome that's sort of standing in their way. So she was a very interesting character and I really enjoyed reading her. All three female characters are connected. Rachel has a great interest. She can't let go of her ex-husband and his new life, and she also is a bit of a daydreamer, and she looks out the window of the train every day and she sees this woman and her husband in a neighbouring house to the one she used to live in with her ex-husband, and she gets really interested and starts imagining their lives. The other two female narrators who aren't Rachel actually really reminded me of Amy in Gone Girl. I should probably stop with the Gone Girl comparisons in case you haven't read it. So this is a book by a woman and it's about women, or it's from, you know, a woman's point of view, and I think it's probably doing very well in terms of the demographic of who buys this book is probably largely female. I really don't read that many thrillers, and so I don't really know how you're supposed to read them. I don't know if I should be guessing who the bad guy, who the villain is in the beginning, or if I should just be reading it like any other book and enjoying the characters and where it's going. I'm not sure. I think I need to learn how to read these type of books properly. The ending definitely was a surprise. It wasn't what I expected. There had been lots of suspense and it built to something that shocked me, but I'm not sure how much I believed it. I don't know, I expected the ending to go somewhere completely different and it didn't go there, but it still surprised me. It was still a good old plot twist. Very easy to read, difficult to put down, and I really like the setting of London and the London trains and commuters and stuffy trains. I would recommend this to adults, not teenagers or children, who enjoyed Gone Girl and who enjoyed that that was a thriller, but there was also a big focus on relationships and personal histories, that kind of thing. I think you would really enjoy this book, and I really enjoyed that it was from lots of female points of views. Let me know if you have read it and what you thought, and if you're into this kind of genre of psychological thrillers, please recommend me some books because I really want to get better at reading these and understanding them and knowing what to expect. In other news, I just created a Patreon page. I will put a link to it in the description. Now that I'm finished university, I really want to be uploading weekly videos to this channel with no stupid 3-week breaks like I usually take, and lots of regular blogs and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to help out with my creative quest, you can go to my Patreon page. That's cool. And next week I'm heading off to Southeast Asia before our Australia and New Zealand tour. There's tickets and lots of information about that in the description as well. If you live in those places, I would love to meet you. Okay, grand. Thank you very much for watching. goodbye. So there's a lot of Irish literature here, but I'm just gonna show you, I'm gonna talk you through every single one.